I've been driving a bus for Greyhound for about 8 years now. Not the fancy new ones with the leather seats and Wi-Fi. I drive the older models, the ones that smell like diesel and stale coffee, and the faint, lingering memory of 1,000 different passengers. I run the long-haul routes, Dallas to El Paso, El Paso to Phoenix, Phoenix to LA. I've seen every mile of I-10 between Texas and California. So many times I could drive it with my eyes closed. The stretch through West Texas is the worst. It's nothing but dust and tumbleweeds and the occasional dead armadillo baking on the asphalt. The towns are hours apart. The radio stations turn to static. The cell service drops to nothing. You're just alone out there, under that big empty sky with nothing but the road and your own thoughts. That's where this happened, about 100 miles east of El Paso, a place called the Van Horn Rest Area. If you've ever driven that stretch, you know it. It's one of those little pull-offs with a concrete building, a few picnic tables, and a sign that tells you how far it is to the next gas station. Nothing special. Just a place to stretch your legs, use the bathroom, and get back on the road. It was about 2 in the morning. I was on the last leg of a run from Dallas to El Paso. The bus was empty. I had dropped off my last passenger about 30 minutes earlier at a truck stop near Fort Stockton. Just me and the empty seats and the hum of the engine. I was tired. Not the kind of tired where you can just push through. The kind of tired where your eyes start to burn and your brain feels like it's wrapped in cotton. I saw the rest area sign coming up. Van Horn Rest Area, next exit. I figured I'd pull over, splash some cold water on my face, maybe buy a coffee from the vending machine if they had one. I needed to wake up, so I took the exit, pulled the bus into the lot, and parked under one of the dim yellow lights. The rest area was dead, not a single other vehicle in the lot. No cars, no trucks, no RVs. Just my bus sitting there in the dark, the engine ticking as it cooled down. The bathroom building was a squat little concrete block with a flat roof. A single fluorescent light buzzed above the door, attracting a cloud of moths. The door was propped open with a brick. I stepped off the bus and walked over. The air was cold, dry, that high desert cold that seeps into your bones. I could see my breath. The gravel crunched under my boots. I pushed open the bathroom door and went inside. The bathroom was exactly what you'd expect. White tiles, fluorescent lights, a few stalls with graffiti on the doors. A long mirror over the sinks that was smudged and dirty. The kind of mirror that makes you look pale and tired no matter how much sleep you've gotten. I walked up to the sink, turned on the faucet, and splashed cold water on my face. It felt good, woke me up a little. I dried my face with a paper towel and looked up at the mirror. And that's when I saw him. A man was standing directly behind me. He was tall, thin, dressed in what looked like a dark suit. His face was pale, almost white, and his eyes were dark. Too dark, like there was no iris, just a deep black hole. He was standing about 3 feet behind me, just staring. Not blinking, not moving, just staring at my reflection. I spun around so fast I almost knocked over the trash can. The bathroom was empty, the stalls were all open, the doors were hanging open. No one was there. Just me, my heart pounding, and the hum of the fluorescent lights. I stood there for a full 10 seconds, breathing hard, trying to process what I'd just seen. I told myself it was a trick of the light. The mirror was dirty. I was tired. I'd been driving for too long. My brain was playing tricks on me. I looked back at the mirror. It was just me, pale, tired, scared. Nothing behind me. I laughed at myself, a nervous, shaky laugh. I said out loud, "You're losing it, old man. Time to get some sleep." I walked out of the bathroom and back to the bus. I climbed into the driver's seat, closed the door, and started the engine. The bus rumbled to life. I put it in gear and pulled out of the lot. That's when I checked my rearview mirror. The man was sitting in the very back seat, the last row, right in the middle. He was staring at me, and he was smiling. I slammed on the brakes so hard the bus lurched forward. I turned around, craned my neck to look at the back of the bus. The seats were empty, all of them. Just dark, empty rows of vinyl upholstery. No man, no suit, no smile. I turned back to the front and looked at the rearview mirror again. He was still there. Same back seat, same dark suit, same pale face, same smile. He was looking right at me through the mirror. His smile wasn't a friendly smile. It was too wide, too still. Like someone who had practiced smiling but never quite got it right. I checked the side mirror, the one on the driver's side. He was there too, sitting in the same seat, reflected in the side mirror. I checked the other side mirror. Same thing. He was in every single mirror on that bus, but when I looked directly at him, he wasn't there. I felt cold, not the cold of the desert night. A different kind of cold, the kind that starts in your stomach and spreads out to your fingers and toes. I put the bus in park and sat there, my hands gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. I said, "Who are you? What do you want?" He didn't answer. He just kept smiling, that wide, empty smile. I said, "Get off my bus." Nothing. He didn't move. He didn't blink. He just sat there, reflected in every mirror I could see. I thought about getting out, running, leaving the bus and the mirrors and that horrible smile behind. But I was out in the middle of nowhere. No phone signal, no cars passing, no help coming. And something told me that if I got out, he would just be waiting for me in the next reflection, in the glass of the bus windows, in the puddles on the ground. He would find me. So I did the only thing I could think of. I put the bus in gear and started driving. I drove fast, faster than I should have. The speedometer climbed past 70, past 80. The bus rattled and shook. The old engine groaned, but I didn't slow down. I just kept my eyes on the road, refusing to look at any of the mirrors. I knew he was back there. I could feel him, that cold presence, that smile. I drove for about 10 miles. Then I hit a patch of rough road and glanced at the rearview mirror out of pure instinct. He was closer now, not in the back seat anymore. He was in the middle of the bus, third row from the back, still smiling, still staring. I gripped the wheel tighter and drove faster. Another mile, another glance. He was in the second row now. Another mile. He was in the first row, right behind the last passenger seat. Another mile. He was in the row directly behind the driver's seat. I could see him in the rearview mirror, just inches from the back of my head. And then, without looking, I knew he was no longer in the mirror. I could feel him, that cold, that heavy, dead cold, right behind me, right over my shoulder. I didn't look. I refused to look. I stared straight ahead at the road, my hands shaking, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst. And then I heard him. Not words, not a voice, just a sound, a soft, wet sound, like a tongue running over dry lips. I screamed. I actually screamed. I slammed on the brakes, and the bus skidded to a stop in the middle of the highway. I threw open the driver's door and jumped out. I ran down the side of the highway, my boots slipping on the gravel, my lungs burning. I ran until I couldn't run anymore. I collapsed on the shoulder of the road, gasping for air, looking back at the bus. It was sitting there in the dark, headlights on, engine running, the door still open, and in the driver's seat, I could see a shape, a tall, thin shape, sitting in my seat, looking at me through the windshield, that smile. I don't know how long I lay there on the side of the road, maybe an hour, maybe two. Eventually, a trucker stopped. He pulled over and asked me if I was okay. I told him my bus broke down. I told him I needed a ride to the nearest town. He looked at me strange, probably because I looked like I'd seen a ghost, but he let me in his cab. I never went back for the bus. I called my boss the next morning and told him I'd left it on the side of I-10. I told him I had a medical emergency and had to get to a hospital. They sent a tow truck. They found the bus exactly where I left it. Engine running, lights on, door open. But here's the thing. The driver's seat was wet, like someone had been sitting there for a very long time, and the rearview mirror was cracked, right down the middle, right where a face would be if someone was staring back at you. I don't drive anymore. I can't. I tried once about a month after it happened. I got into a friend's car just to go to the grocery store. I looked in the side mirror to back out of the driveway. He was sitting in the back seat. That same suit, that same pale face, that same smile. I got out of the car and walked home. I haven't driven since. I take the bus sometimes, but I always sit in the front, right behind the driver. And I never ever look in the mirrors. I don't know who he was, or what he was. I don't know if he was a ghost or a demon or something else entirely. I just know that he found me in a bathroom mirror in West Texas, and he's been following me ever since. He doesn't talk, he doesn't move, he just waits. In every reflection, every window, every shiny surface. Sometimes, late at night, when I'm brushing my teeth, I glance up at the bathroom mirror, and there he is, standing behind me. That same dark suit, that same pale face, that same smile. I don't turn around anymore. I know he won't be there. He exists only in reflections, only in the space between the real world and the world that's just out of sight. But that's enough. That's more than enough. Because every time I see him, that smile gets a little wider. And I just know that one day he's going to reach out. One day he's going to step out of the reflection and into the real world. And I'll finally see what he looks like when he's not just a reflection. And I'm terrified of what that will be.